Passover collections.
Everybody back, man. I got it. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, this is motherfucking Passover collections. We want some motherfucking money.
How much we talking about?
You read the Passover flyer?
Quit all that chit chat. Tell them how much we want.
Hold on. Hey, how much we want?
We have 2 bills.
We want $2. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Hey, we doing all this over 8 funky quarters?
Man, $200. Come on, use your head.
Oh, we want $200. All crispy tens.
This nigga.
You want $200?
Yeah, man, I want $200. Why am I repeating myself? Man, take me off the speakerphone, man. You making me nervous.
Hey,
Wait, hey, hold on.
you got block on that phone?
Nah, why don't you block the phone for?
Hang on.
Hey, we gonna call you right back.
Damn, man, they hung up. So what we gonna do?
Man, we good, man. The generals cover brothers every year. I ain't tripping on that.
You think they got my number on there?
I don't know. Let's call them back block though. That's all right.
Yeah, hello? Hello? Yeah, this Passover collections again. Me and Captain Ghidorah gonna need that money by the night.
You said my name.
Wait, hold on. Shalakia, I ain't say your name. I ain't Destiny's Child. Hey, man.
Sorry about that. Anyways, me and Cap need that money by the night.
Listen.
And if you ain't got that money by the night, it ain't gonna be no North Carolina, and it ain't gonna be no Passover.
Shalom.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, man. You know what it is, man. Listen, the Lord's 55th annual Passover. Durham, North Carolina, man. $200 per person, man. You understand? Get your bread in right now. Not now, not yesterday, but right now. You hear me? Shalom.
I'm a priest in the UPK. Of course my phone always ring off the hook. Hey, 1 second. Hey, Shalom. Lord of Christ.
I'm a priest in the UPK. Of course you safe in here.
I'm a trooper in the UPK.
I'm a priest in the Isupk. Of course I get checked with Sabbath service.
I'm a priest in the UPK. Of course my phone always ring off the hook. Hey, 1 second. Hey, Shalom. Lord of Christ.
I'm a priest in the UPK. Of course you safe in here.
I'm a trooper in the UPK.
I'm a priest in the Isupk. Of course I get checked with Sabbath service. Hey, Elijah, man, what the fuck wrong with you, man? Didn't I tell you to do that shit?
I'm a priest in the UPK. Of course I got multiple wives.
Hello? Yeah, take that Facebook post down. Take that shit down.
I'm a trooper in the UPK.
I'm a priest in the UPK. Of course I don't have conversations with my brother's wives over 10 seconds. Hey, Shalom, sis.
I'm a trooper in the UPK.
Hey, I'm a priest in the UPK. Of course I stay icy.
I'm a trooper in the UPK. Of course Cap made me do this.
I'm a trooper in the UPK, of course.
Everyone still. Hey, Shalom, sis.
Shit, man, what's good for the night though, man?
Shit, I think we should go to Duke's tonight.
Shit, Dukes? I'm always fucking with Dukes. I was there last night. I'll go again. I ain't tripping.
We go to Duke's every Saturday.
Man, we don't gotta go out. We can just drink at school or some shit. Nah, for real, man. We can just stay in. Like, what's up with that?
This nigga. Wow. What were you saying? Bro, shut the fuck up. No more plans from you.
Let's just get some s'mores and crackers and sing Kumbaya.
This nigga, you feel what I'm saying though? Like, nigga trying to go out, this nigga, ooh, this stay inside. I want to be indoors. Weird ass shit, man. Like, God, please.
God
Man, let me tell you about this weird shit Captain did, man. All the niggas over there out there
You're talking about
laughing.
something that just happened right now?
Yeah, all them brothers out there
All
laughing.
right, well, hold on. Are you offended?
Yeah, I'm offended, man.
Okay, so if you offended, hold on. If you offended by what somebody did or said to you, what should you do? Should you go to a brother and talk about your offense? Or should you go to the brother that offended
Nah,
you?
but I feel like I can't
No.
really talk to
Hear
him,
me though. What Christ said?
Go to him and him alone.
All right then. So what you about to do?
I'm gonna go talk to him about it.
Most High Christ.
Oh, you got any better ideas?
Hey, the life was part of that.
Oh my God, bro.
Nigga, that's a funny nigga, man.
It's like Captain Allergy.
It was good.
I'm offended by all the jokes and stuff that y'all was doing. Really, like I feel like y'all took it too far. Like I ain't, I know we joke around with brothers, but I feel like y'all took that shit too far.
Yeah, man. Hey, Shalaki, man. I that's my fuck up. I apologize for that. I didn't mean to be, joking and laughing and shit at you. You know you my bro. I'm sorry. You accept my apology?
Yeah, kind of, sir.
Shalaki, let me get you a drink or something. We solid? We good? Most High Christ. The water. Hey, Shalom, Lord of Christ, man. We just showed you a scenario on how you should handle a situation when someone offends you, man. Listen, man, you get offended in the school, always take the proper protocol. Go to him and him alone, man. That's how you keep brotherhood strong, and that's how you keep demons away, and that's how you keep everyone together. You understand? Shalom. One take Jake, right here. One take Jake.
Just because he think he 13,000, man, I really don't give a fuck about none of that shit, bro. That shit be pissing me off.
I'm finna tell that nigga everything you just said.
Rolling. Man, capping him over there making jokes about it.
That nigga that more like. No. Come back later, nigga.
Everybody here, so you got the perfect people.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Okay. Phone's still low. Hey, Shalom, Israel. What's going on? I got this right now. All right. All right. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Barakatham to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Latham Ba'Shem Yahushua to the sisters. A lot for y'all tuning in the Tuesday night brotherhood class. We're gonna go right into today's topic. Salakia for the tardiness. All right, so learning from your mistakes. Okay. We're gonna get right into the topic. Hey, Shalom, Kodash, UPK Kodash. Hey, Shalom Adawan, UPK Karatza. Shalom Salakia. Mathamayad by Yashakar. Halak, Shalom, what's going on? Young man D, what's going on in the building? All right. So learning from your mistakes. I just want to get right into it, jump right into this topic. A lot of people are misinformed, thinking that as soon as we, get in all black and hop up in this truth that, it's a possibility of not making mistakes or making a mistake. You know what I'm saying? That's not true at all. It's not biblically true at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? The thing is, you're going to make mistakes, but how you react from making your mistakes is going to depend on what type of soldier you are. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's not about the mistakes that you make. It's about you fighting your demons, fighting your battles, and learning from everything that you go through. You know what I'm saying? Learn from your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit there and pout and make it seem as if you're incapable of fixing the mistakes that you've made. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as you got a breath of life, you're able to fix your mistakes. All right. So don't think it's strange that you make a mistake, even though you've probably taken on your role of getting in this truth and, you know what I'm saying, getting in all black and getting your Hebrew name and, you know what I mean, becoming a soldier in the UPK. You know what I'm saying? Don't think it's strange to make a mistake. You know what I mean? Mistakes will be made, but how you move after your mistake is going to determine what type of person you are. You know what I mean? Most people just stack their mistakes up like a stack of pancakes. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? You're supposed to fight and be the type of person that makes a mistake and moves forward from it. You know what I mean? Changes the wrongdoings that they done. You know what I mean? And become the person where they don't make those mistakes again. You know what I'm saying? But just going off of biblically in general, you know what I mean? We're gonna go through a series of records in the Bible of brothers and sisters, actually, brothers and sisters who made mistakes, and some were able to move forward from the mistakes, and some just were so caught up in the mistakes that they weren't able to move from them. You know what I mean? And that's where you don't want to be at. You don't want to be one of those people who consistently continues to keep making mistakes over mistakes over mistakes to the point where it's just like the Lord has no more mercy on you. You know what I'm saying? And you can no longer move forward from the mistakes that you made. You know what I mean? You wanna definitely analyze yourself with wisdom and know when you're doing something in the wrong path and knowing when to move forward from doing that wrong thing. You know what I mean? Knowing when it's time to stop, knowing when it just you know what I mean? The Lord said if that right hand offended, cut it off. You know what I'm saying? Just cut it off. Just starve the hell out of whatever that situation is. You know what I mean? To the point where it's like it's you knowing your wrongdoings and never turning back to them again. You know what I mean? Do that. Okay. So we're gonna get into a couple of brothers and sisters in the biblically made mistakes. You know what I mean? That's one thing that we can honestly say that is an excellent thing when it comes to our records, because it shows and improves that people were not always on the right track, and it goes to the reaction and how they managed to move themselves from the wrongdoings that they done, or how they managed to put themselves in even hotter water. You know what I'm saying? But our records show the things that we should do and what we shouldn't be doing, and it shows examples of the people who've made mistakes. You know what I mean? Some of our greatest pioneers, you know what I mean, made mistakes. We're gonna get into it in a second. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean, it's not just about the mistakes you made, it's about how do you move forward from it. You know what I'm saying? So don't think it's strange to make a mistake, you know what I mean? But don't be a person who's consistently always doing the wrong thing. You know what I mean? So let's get into, you know what I mean, well, let's go to Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 16. Proverbs 24 and verse 16. And it says, "For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief." So a righteous man falls 7 times and continues to keep on getting back up. You know what I mean? Don't make it seem as if, oh, because you failed or did the wrong thing, that it's the end all be all. Hey, shalom on Christ, Davion, what's going on? Salaki. Is that a warrior? Warrior, if that's you, put okay, yeah, that is you. All right, Salaki. Hey, shalom on Christ, warrior. I keep getting confused because your YouTube name. Okay, so yeah, a just man falls 7 times and gets back up. You know what I mean? No matter how many mistakes you continue to find yourself into, rise up from that. You know what I mean? Do better. You know what I mean? Do better with yourself. Do better with your reactions and how you act and what you do. You know what I mean? Don't continue to keep being that person who falls down the wrong path. All right. So let's get into it. We're gonna get into King David first. All right. So we're gonna go to the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 11. So King David, you know what I mean? Even King David made mistakes. You know what I mean? It's like 11, 2 Samuel 11. Oh, it's like 11:1. Okay, so even King David, he made mistakes. You know what I mean? King David made a lot of mistakes, but at the end of the day, he wasn't like Saul. He didn't die within his mistakes. His reaction showed that he was remorseful for the things that he's done that were wrong. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Shalom to Christ, one, Officer Lahab in the building. So King David made plenty of mistakes, but we're going to get into one mistake that he made, which was sleeping with another man's wife. Okay, that's one mistake he made. We'll get into the actual law of why this is not. You know what I mean? This is not a lawful thing to do, and it is not allowed within an Israelite culture. You know what I mean? And the consequences that also come with it. Okay, so let's get into it. The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 11 and verse 1. And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, King David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. So this is when we were at rule, and we had our own kingdom, and we were still in battle during the time period of David's reign. And so they're at battle with Ammon. And what David did is he sent them off to what city was this again? He sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. Okay, Rabbah. And it says, but David tarried still at Jerusalem. So he stayed behind, and his army went to go to battle. Okay, and it came to pass in an evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman. So this is where he's making his mistake already. First of all, when he seen that woman pretty much bathing and naked, he should already just turn his eyes away. But he was already lusting over her. You know what I mean? And he sent for her. That's one thing. That's one of the things he did wrong. Okay. And it says, and David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah and Hittite? And David sent messengers and took her. So he was already informed that this woman was married. He was already informed, and he was already been let known that this is a married woman. But what does he do anyways? He still sends for her, for one of his messengers to come get her. This is where he's messing up at. You know what I mean? This is where he's sinning at, because he is informed. He knows that this is a married woman. He knows that not only that, this is the wife of one of his most loyal servants. You know what I'm saying? And yet still his lust for her beauty, he still sins after her. Okay. And she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanliness, and she returned unto her house. So he just thought he was hitting and quitting. He thought he was just about to go just get him some real quick, and it was just gonna be all said and done with. You know what I mean? And he sent her back to her home. You know what I mean? But what happens? And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. So he thought he was just gonna, you know what I mean? How can I say, get his rocks off and then just that'll be it. But nope. You know what I mean? The woman ended up being pregnant, and he couldn't walk away from the mistake that he made. He couldn't just ignore it or move forward from it. You know what I mean? So now he has to deal with the situation. What is he trying to do? You know what I mean? David does a very unrighteous thing and attempts to send Uriah back home to his wife to sleep with her. That way that they can be in the mindset of that's his wife. Well, that's his baby instead of being David's baby. You know what I mean? So yeah, he knew she was married. That's where he messed up at and still pursued her. Not only did he pursue her, he laid with her. You know what I mean? Which law is that in the Bible? Let's go to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 13. Exodus 20 and 13. And I'm just going to go all the way through from 13 all the way to 17 because David pretty much messed up on all ends of these two chapters right here. For these two verses right here. It says, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. So this is where David messed up pretty much all around on every portion. Because what does he do? He sends Uriah to go sleep with his wife, so Uriah could be under the impersonation that he was the father of that child when David knew that the child was his. And not only that, you know what I mean? He sees that Uriah is not leaving to go be at home. You know what I mean? He's not going to go home because they're in the middle of war. You know what I mean? He's serving his kingdom. You know what I mean? So he refuses to go home with his wife, which a person had brought this up to me saying like, oh, doesn't that mean that Uriah did away with his wife because he didn't want to go home? No, that's not true. Uriah was very much still married to his wife. He was still wanting to be with his wife. He was just serving his nation. You know what I mean? He was serving his kingdom, serving his king. You know what I mean? He didn't want to go to his home and relax and, you know what I mean, be unclean and be relaxed and be with his wife. He wanted to be at battle with his brothers. He wanted to serve his kingdom. You know what I mean? It wasn't his time that he felt that of being in vacation. He didn't want to be in vacation. He wanted to be at war with his brothers. He wanted to stand with his brothers. So David's trying to send for him, and he sees that he's not going. So what does David do? He's just like, okay, well, if I can't manipulate him into thinking that the child is his, I just got to get rid of him. So he sends him to be, how can I say, frontline to one of the battles that he knew Uriah would eventually be killed in. So he sends him into that. You know what I mean? Uriah goes. He does the order of his king, and he loses his life. Now David comes in to marry his Uriah's wife. So it make it seem as if, oh yeah, well, I did a favor for a brother. But who's seen the mistake that David made, which is the Lord? Always understand that. You know what I mean? Don't think that your mistakes are being made and you just getting away with it. The Lord is watching you. You know what I mean? The Lord's eyes are burned 100 times more than the sun. You know what I'm saying? It's brighter 100 more times than the sun. You know what I mean? The Lord's seeing what's going on. And the Lord sees it, and he sends a prophet to speak to David. You know what I mean? Prophet Nathaniel. And he sends him to speak to David on this is what's going to happen. You know what I mean? The Lord knows what you did, and you're going to be punished for it. Now, is he going to take your life? No. But he's going to take your child's life. You know what I mean? You're gonna grow to want to love that child. You're going to grow to want to, you know what I mean, want that child to live, and he's going to take that child's life because of the life that you took and the mistake that you made in your fornication. Sees everything gets report. Okay. So, all right. So David thought he got away with the mistake that he made or the unrighteous acts he's made, but he doesn't. The Lord sees it. The Lord sends his prophet to let him know he's going to be punished for that. Amen. So what happens? The child. David goes into a deep depression. He's crying and praying to the Lord. He's begging the Lord to spare the child. Okay, he's begging him. But when the child is born, the child dies. But what does David do? Does David go and sleep with another man's wife? Does David go and send another brother off into war to be murdered purposely? What David did was gird up his loins. He washed his face, he put on his apparel, he put on his clothes, and he stepped up and he served the Lord. And he started serving the Lord in the right way. You know what I mean? He made a mistake. He had to pay for that mistake. Did he sit there and say, "Oh Lord, you killed my child, I can never serve you the right way again," and whoop whoop whoop? Like, no. You know what I mean? He girded up his loins and he cleaned himself up and he went back into serving the Lord. He didn't sit back and dwell within his depression and dwell within the things that he lost and blame the Lord for it. He got back up on his two and he started to serve the Lord in the right way. You know what I mean? That's one thing about learning from your mistakes. You know what I mean? It's how you react from them. You don't turn around and continue to keep on making the same mistake over and over again, making it seem as if that, oh, because I made it the first time and got away with it, I'm gonna continue to keep doing it. No, you know what I mean? You clean yourself up and you turn away from the mistakes that you made, and you turn your back on those mistakes, and you serve the Lord in the righteous way. You know what I mean? So that's with David, and let's go to Deuteronomy 22 and verse 22 real quick. Deuteronomy 22 and verse 22. Let's see. This is speaking about laying with another man's wife and the punishment that comes with it. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shalt thou put away evil from Israel. So they'll both the consequences of sleeping, well, adultery, you know what I mean? Thou shalt not commit adultery. The consequences of a married woman sleeping with another man is death. Consequences of a man sleeping with a married woman is death. You know what I mean? And that's what that situation led into, was the death of that child, because, you know what I mean, of the mistake that David made. You know what I mean? And David was still king, you know what I mean? And he was still had to do his job as king, and he just had to take the consequence on the chin, because every mistake comes with a consequence. You got to understand that. But you can move on from that mistake. You can move on from that consequence as long as you still have a breath of life in you. But sometimes you won't have the breath of life in you, because we know what the consequence of sleeping with a married woman is, and that is both of them shall be put to death. So maybe you won't be able to get a chance to be able to turn from your mistake. You know what I mean? Because your sin was just too great. It just got to the point where it's just like, you know what I mean? You was probably sleeping with another man's wife, and he busts in, sees what happened, and then boom. You know what I mean? Both of y'all gone. You know what I mean? But that's a mistake that's the consequence that comes with it. All right. So let's keep going. Now let's go to 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. Okay, so I just kind of want to go into the mistakes that were made, and also the law that was written, because with knowledge, you know what I mean, you would know not to make a mistake. With wisdom, you would know not to make a mistake. With knowledge, you would know not to make a mistake. So this is the knowledge of the Bible that's telling you why you shouldn't do certain things, or the things that you shouldn't do. Okay. So where we at? We have 1 Kings 11 and 1. Let me get to it real quick. Okay. So now we're going to go to King David's son, King Solomon, when he's at rule, when he's king. You know what I mean? Because even kings can make mistakes. But the thing about it is, the best thing about it is that our king didn't make a mistake. You know what I mean? That's why Christ was able to be the perfect sacrifice, because he didn't make mistakes. And he was able to learn not to make mistakes because of reading through the scriptures. What the forefathers before us did, and the things that they've done that they weren't supposed to do. And he was able to know, okay, prophecy and instruction. You know what I'm saying? So that's how he was able to avoid making mistakes, because of the things that brothers went through in the Old Testament. You know what I mean? Or the Apocrypha. And this is we're going to go to King Solomon right now. Okay. First Kings chapter 11 and verse 1 says, "But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love, and he said he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart." So it's already gave the warning, like in the Bible, of why you shouldn't do these things. But Solomon went about anyways and slept with heathen women that were not of the nation of Israel, as this chapter is saying, because the Lord wanted us to stay within our own tribes. You know what I mean? He wanted us to procreate within our own tribes. He didn't want us sleeping with strange women. There's many different records in the Bible of the detriment of sleeping with a heathen woman. We'll get into one in a little bit as well. But right now with King Solomon had many wives, but him having many wives was not where he, you know what I mean, sinned. And it's not explaining him having many wives as a sin. It's explaining that him having strange women, heathen women, is where he sinned. You know what I mean? He should have kept his wives within his own nation. Okay. So it's saying that the consequences that they're going to turn you away, turn you away from me, because heathen people have their own gods. They have their own culture. You know what I mean? They have their own ways of living and ways of thinking. And when you procreate with them, they're going to raise your children up to be in that same predicament. You know what I mean? So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 1. Deuteronomy 7 and 1. Deuteronomy 7 and 1 through 4. And it says, "When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou." So this is going to the time period of Moses, and it's giving the warning not to sleep with the nations that they're going to pass through. Okay, it's saying don't marry them, don't be with them. It says 7 nations greater and mightier than thou, and verse 2, and when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them. That means making no promises with them. Nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So this is already a warning already as it is. Okay. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. And that's what happened with Solomon. You know what I mean? Solomon got old, he got weak. You know what I mean? And he started to build temples for his wives' gods. Okay. So he was given a place of worship for the gods of his wives. And that already at that already is just the ultimate sin. You know what I'm saying? He's serving different gods. His heart turned away from God, and he's serving different gods because he was under the weakness of his wives. You know what I'm saying? And he put himself in submission to their request, which was to build temples for them. Okay. Let's keep it going. So that's King Solomon. All right, King Solomon. But did King Solomon, you know what I mean, did he die right away? No, he died of old age. But all in all, his consequence was that the kingdom was going to be torn into. Well, we was going to lose our kingdom. That was one thing, because not only was Solomon and them serving those false idols, it was the people as well. You know what I mean? But the kingdom was going to be torn. So it's going to, now we have the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom because of the what Solomon was doing, and then we were at war with each other. Okay, and the generations to come, that's how we lost the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Not only just because of Solomon's mistake, but idol worship and just, you know what I mean, taking God as a joke. You know what I mean? So that's Solomon's mistake. Solomon made his mistake by sleeping with heathen women. His father made his mistake by sleeping with a married woman. And now let's keep going. Okay, so who's next? Let's see. All right, so we're gonna get into the first king. And it's another king as well. You know what I mean? We're gonna go into King Saul. So we're gonna go to 1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 3. Now, King Saul made a lot of mistakes. But King Saul, unfortunately, had to die within making his mistakes. Not only the kingdom was stripped away from him, and God chose David to rule the kingdom, but he also, he was doing some wild stuff. He was going to go trying to talk to Samuel as he was dead. So he went to go see a medium, which is also breaking the law. All that sorcery, all that stuff like that, that's breaking the law. And then what else did he do? He had hatred for his brother. He was envious of his brother, which was King David, and he sought to kill King David. He sought to kill his own brother. Saul was just messing up. He was messing up a lot. But here's one of his mistakes that he made also, which really was the end all be all for the Most High God. He was just like, all right, now I gotta take away this kingdom from this man, because Saul shows also coveted. He was a covetous also. He showed greed. You know what I mean? He showed a lot of greed, and he was given a direct order by God to do something, and he broke that order and did what he wanted to do because of his greed. And this is where God takes away the kingdom from him. So let's get into it. It's going to be 1 Samuel's chapter 15 and verse 3. And it says, this is the Lord giving Saul his instructions on what he's supposed to do. It says, now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and women, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. So God has given this order to Saul to go and kill the Amalekites. So he gave him that order to do that is because of the trespass that Amalek did against Israel when we were passing through their land, right? When Moses and them were passing through their land, the Amalek, their nation, waited for them to pass, and they attacked Israel from the rear, which is where all of the old women, where the children, all of the feeble people were. You know what I mean? The people that are not soldiers and able to protect themselves. They did something very reckless and very cowardly and waited for them to pass and attack them from the rear. So they're attacking women, they're attacking children, they're attacking old, elderly. They did an ultimate trespass against Israel. So this was their consequence to that situation, because the Lord doesn't forget. You know what I mean? And he's going to get his vengeance regardless. So he made that order for Saul to go and kill women, children, babies, whatever it is, just completely wipe them off. Oh, also goats, camels, whatever it is, utterly destroy them and keep nothing of them. You know what I mean? Utterly wipe them off of the face of the earth. That's what he was supposed to do. But Saul, you know what I mean, showing his greed, he doesn't do that. He keeps the good things that they have, the good lamb, the good goat, the good treasures, and he also keeps the king alive. You know what I mean? But the Lord ordered for them to be utterly destroyed. Okay, and if you scroll down to verse 10, we don't get into the Lord just being fed up and taking this kingdom away from Saul. All right. And it says on verse 10, it says, "Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, It repented me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he is turned back from following me, and have not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night." The only reason it grieved Samuel because Samuel is the one who put Saul in order. Samuel loved Saul, and he's the one that put him in place to be king. All right. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and beheld, he set him up a place, and is gone about, and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord, I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the lowering of the oxen which I hear? So Samuel's just pretty much exposing Saul for what he did wrong, which God said utterly destroy him, and yet he's saying, like, what is this bleeding in my ear? Why do I hear oxen and all these type of different animals and things of that nature? Everything should be dead. Everything should be gone. But he just informed them like he didn't do what God truly said. You know what I mean? And it says, and Saul said, they have brought them from the Amalekites. Amalekites. I keep on messing that word up. I don't know why. For the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Saul, Stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. And Samuel said, When thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord anointed thee king over Israel. And the Lord sent thee on a journey, and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners of the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord? So we're seeing what is going on with the consequence that's going to come to Saul, and why it's going to come. Okay, because he did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not follow the order completely, and for that, his kingdom the Lord went to go find a new king more righteous than Saul was, and that's when he gets King David. Okay, so that's where Saul made his mistake at. Okay, he made a lot of mistakes actually, but that's one of them, and that was the mistake that he made, that ultimately came to the demise of him as well, because in his despair of losing the kingdom, he does a whole bunch of unrighteous things, especially to David. You know what I mean? And then it just ultimately leads to not just him dying, but also his sons as well. Okay, so let's keep it going. So the mistakes that you can make could ultimately lead to your death. So don't get into the habit of making mistakes. Get into the habit of fixing your mistakes. It's like it. Okay. So let's go into Luke, because we already got into Exodus chapter 20, where it tells you not to be a covetous. But let's go to Luke 12 and 15. Okay. And the book of Luke chapter 12. It's like it. It's like it. The book of Luke chapter 12, verse 15, it says, "And he said unto them, Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth." So don't get too don't set your mindset up on the things that you have. You know what I mean? Or the things that you can gain, because the Lord God is not the God of gain. You know what I mean? You don't want to spend your whole life doing wicked things in order to have possession. You know what I mean? You want to have possession in a righteous form. You know what I mean? You don't want to base your character on the things that you have, and you don't want to covet, which is, you know what I mean? You don't want to want something that somebody else has, and you don't want to be greedy as well. I mean, you want to be a giving person. You want to be a person who is capable of helping the people who are in need of help. You don't want to be the person that's always keeping for themselves and taking from those who are less fortunate. You know what I mean? You want to be the person who's able to give to the less fortunate. Okay? So setting your mind to that is ultimately going to lead into your demise as well. All right? So next up, let's see. All right, let's go to Judges. Judges 16 and 1. Now we're going to get into that man Samson and what his mistakes were. Okay? And it says, then the book of Judges chapter 16 and verse 1, then went Samson to Gaza and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her. And it was told to Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither, and they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all night, all the night, saying, in the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. So Samson, where is Samson's fault at in what he's doing? What did Samson do that was a big mistake? I'll give you like 10 more seconds. Nobody answers, I'll just get an answer. All right. All right. So what Samson does is, first of all, he does two things wrong. First of all, he lies down with a heathen woman. You know what I mean? He's laying down with a Philistine. You know what I mean? And not just that, he's sleeping with a whore. He's lying down with a harlot. You know what I mean? Samson was a sucker for whores. He's laid down with a harlot, a woman who's actually like in the streets prostituting. I mean, a true prostitute. Okay. And not only does he even sleep with her, he falls in love with her. So much so that, you know what I mean, he gives his weakness to her. He gives up one of the promises he made to the Lord, or one of the promises that was made to the Lord for him, for his birth. He gives it to a woman who is not only from another nation, but she's also a prostitute. Okay. And what do we know about not sleeping with prostitutes? The book of Leviticus, chapter 21 and verse 7. Leviticus 21 and 7. Okay. And it says, they shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto his God. Oh, we don't, you're not supposed to sleep with a whore. You know what I mean? That is the commandment by the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And we already went into Deuteronomy, and when it's saying not to sleep with strange women as well. You know what I mean? He was not able to move forward from. You know what I mean? The mistakes that he made, it wasn't like it was the first mistake that he made. He had a chance to be able to stop sleeping with heathen women and sleeping with whores, but he made the same mistake again, which ultimately left into his demise. And he ended up having to lose his life because of the mistakes he made. Like I said, don't allow your mistakes to multiply. You know what I mean? Learn from your mistakes and move forward from it, because there's no telling how long God's mercy and God's grace is going to last on you. It's going to get to a point where eventually you're going to have to understand the consequences of the things that you're doing. And these brothers had to learn the consequences of the things that they were doing. King Saul lost his life. Samson lost his life. Well, Solomon lost his kingdom. David, you know what I mean, lost his child. Then you're gonna have to pay for the mistakes that you make. Don't allow your mistakes to multiply though. Don't allow them to cycle. You know what I mean? Break that cycle and utterly destroy anything that you've done that you know that you were in the wrong with. I mean, before it becomes a point where the Lord has no more mercy on you and you ultimately have to lose your life like Samson or Saul. Okay. So now we can get into let's see who we got next. Okay, so let's go to real quick Genesis 19 and verse 24. Now, Genesis 19 and 24 is all based on Lot's wife. Hey, shalom, Lord Christ. Shalom, Lord Christ, sis. So Genesis 19 and 24 is all based on Lot's wife. If anybody knows the records of Lot's wife, she was turned into a pillar of salt. Okay, why is that? Why was she turned to a pillar of salt? Well, let's read it first, and then we'll get into the situation. First, this is well, Lot and his family were fleeing. They were fleeing from Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so the angels came and to bring them out of those cities because it was time for those cities to be destroyed. Those cities were so wicked that they needed to be destroyed. And so Lot's wife Abraham had Lot's wife and them warned and escorted out of those cities so they can be in safety from the destruction that was soon to come. So when the angels get there, they go warn Lot about what's going on. The people try to assault the angels, and so Lot and them got told to pack their bags and get up out of there. Now, why did Lot's wife turn into a pillar of salt? let's read the record first, and then we'll get into it. So 19 and 24. 19 and 24 says, "Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt." Now the Lord instructed that don't look back. Don't look back on what's happening to that city. Move forward and don't look back. That was an instruction, but she disobeyed that instruction and looked back anyways and was turned to a pillar of salt. Okay, this is the thing. Why did she look back? It's because she was looking back on the things that she loved and was used to. I mean, mind you, 2 daughters left with Lot and them. You know what I mean? 2 daughters left, but Lot had 4 daughters. I mean, he still had 2 daughters that were still in that city because they decided not to leave with their husbands. So she's looking back at all that. You know what I mean? She's looking back on the things that she's losing when the Lord instructed not to look back. Okay? And that was her instruction. And she disobeyed those instructions. So she made a mistake that ultimately cost her life as well, because there wasn't no second chance after that. It wasn't no, oh yeah, time for me to get it right. She just lost her life instantly. Okay? And that's what we want to avoid. Making mistakes to the point where we lose our life. You know what I mean? That's why it's a warning to the people to learn from your mistakes and move forward. Don't continue to keep your mistakes going. Go to Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 1. The book of Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 1 says, "Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them." So within her desire to being with the wicked, she ultimately loses her life, because the wicked were being judged, and it was said to not look back. But because her desire to be amongst whoever's being judged in those cities were wicked. So she, looking back, had a desire to be amongst the wicked, and that's where she lost her life from. I mean, and who knows what those wicked could be, because you can be in the midst of the wicked and lose your life just from being amongst them. You can be hanging out with old pals from back in the day, and they got beef with this people and this people. Those people show up to execute them, and now you just being around them, you face execution just by being around them. You know what I mean? So don't have a desire to be amongst the wicked. You know what I mean? If you definitely want to put the wicked in a perspective of being righteous, of course, but don't have a desire to be what the wicked are. Don't have a desire to be where they are and what they are. You know what I mean? You don't want to be a person who's trying to live righteously but still trying to gangbang. You know what I mean? Because then you're just putting yourself in a position of judgment that gangbangers receive, which is either jail or death. Okay? So don't put yourself in that atmosphere, and don't put yourself in that perspective of the wicked. I mean, because you might end up facing the same judgment that those wicked have. Okay? So one more precept, and that's going to be Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 22. And the book of Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 22, it says that ye put off concerning the former conversations the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Don't have that mindset that you continue to want to be that. That's how you can end up that's how you end up in your mistakes, by wanting to be what you're not supposed to be, by moving forward from the old person that you used to be, but still desiring certain things that you used to be as well. Don't have that desire. You know what I mean? Don't have that mindset of latching on to the things that you used to be. I mean, you want to live righteously, you want to do righteous things, then live righteously and do righteous things. Don't try to drag certain characteristics and aspects with you. Hey, shalom, shalom, Lord Christ. You know what I mean? Don't try to bring things with you. I mean, when you move forward in this truth, you want to leave all your old bags packed. That's packed. Leave them behind you. You know what I mean, go get some new stuff in your righteous life. Okay. Don't dwell on the things that stayed in the world. Don't dwell on the people who stayed in the world. Don't put yourself in perspective of dealing with worldly people and them making you feel as if the other side is much better, because it's not. You know what I mean? The grass is not greener on the other side. To live lawlessly and to live without instruction is not greater on the other side. You're going to lose your life eventually. You know what I mean? So dropping your sword and stepping back into the ways of the world is ultimately going to get you killed. You're supposed to kill off the old man and leave that old man behind. Those things that used to be are gone now. You know what I mean? And all you can do is build from your righteous perspective. And then the things that you receive in your righteous life will be things that are sent from the Most High. You know what I mean? And those things are the things that you actually want. You don't want those things that can fade away and can leave so easily. You want those things that actually have some value to them and have some substance. You know what I mean? Those righteous things. Because the Lord's not going to give you anything that's unrighteous. Okay? But if y'all got any questions, I could put it in the chat. If not, we can just end the class with that. So I'll give it like a minute or two. Any questions or anything like that? When we went over about learning from your mistakes, not allowing your mistakes to multiply, not allowing your mistakes to be so great that the Lord decides to take your life for it. You know what I mean? That's pretty much all we locked in on. Seeing if there is no questions, we gonna close it out. Saying shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakathum to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shamar Latham Bashem Yahshua to the sisters. The water for y'all tuning in.